Welcome everyone. It's Sunday morning here. Welcome Ava, welcome Nancy, and welcome Dawn. Nice to see you. So before we begin, I'll just kind of give you an orientation on what we're hoping to achieve today. Some of you joined me last week, and while I do, I will just zoom in on this beautiful crimson rosella that's over there, feasting on some young blackberries, and we can just admire him while I talk. So 5 minutes before we begin, hi Chelsea, hi Connie, and hi Randy. So the aim of today is really just to, I'm quite new to this. I'm not a practitioner in any way, shape or form. I just found the whole idea of forest bathing really intriguing. It resonates with me because I love to get out into nature myself. I read about how therapeutic and proven medically getting out into nature is. And I believe that I would be capable of sharing this beautiful location with you in this way. So what we do is we walk very slowly. I translate that to a first person experience. So what I will do is I will talk you through the walk as I'm experiencing it. I won't instruct you to do anything. I will invite you to take on my experience, if that makes any sense. Hi, Tracy. So excellent. Thanks, Lisa. So here we are. We're at Wentworth Falls, and when I begin, I will, as I said, I'll be talking in the first person, so it'll be along the lines of I pause to notice this, or I feel that, and that's the way that we will attempt to progress through the experience this morning. Hi, Dolores. Shinrin Yoku is the Japanese name of what we're actually doing, and it translates to immersing yourself, or as we understand it, bathing in the forest. It was developed in the 1980s as a pushback against the high-tech lifestyles prevalent in Japan. And now it's been expanded throughout the world, and there are practitioners particularly in botanical gardens. In fact, the garden that I'll be visiting tomorrow has a guided experience in Shinrin Yoku. Hi, Angela, and hi, Inga. All right, so this is where we're starting from. It's Sunday morning, 8 a.m. in the morning, and we were just filling in the time watching this crimson rosella feasting on young blackberries by the side of the track. I'll get a little bit closer to him while we wait for others to join us. Oh, it's another gorgeous day, Lisa. I think the weather's about to change, but apparently they're getting snow down in the snowy mountains. There's a chill in the air, and I've scheduled to return to the Hazelbrook waterfalls. We've had some hot weather, which would have been perfect for my husband to get underneath the waterfall, but apparently it's going to be quite cold on Wednesday. I don't think he's very happy about it. Hi, Marianne. Hi, Shalini. I hope I've got that right. All right, so we've just over a minute to begin. I don't want to zoom in any closer than that because the picture's going to deteriorate if I do. Well, let's try one step. There we go. Okay. Hi, Sue. Hi, Omar. All right, so not long before we start, and let me just zoom out so I don't make you all feel seasick. It's a gorgeous morning, and we're standing near Wentworth Falls Lake. So as we progress, that's probably a good opportunity as we progress through the forest. I have no idea what the weather's going to be like in New Zealand, Randy. I think there is somebody on the tour from New Zealand I saw right at the beginning. Jess might be able to tell you what the weather's like in New Zealand. Did I say hi to Tracy? I think I did. Angela. Hi, Janet. Hi Tina. Hi Cheryl. Hi Alison. Hi Lily. Very cold drop in temperature. It's 14 degrees here at the moment. I'm not sure what that is in Fahrenheit. We're just about to tip over time. So I think that might be in the low 60s, but I could be wrong. Hi Cherie. Hi Ruth. All right. So good morning, everybody. For anyone who hasn't met me before, my name's Lynn, and we're meeting today in Wentworth Falls, by the side of Wentworth Falls Lake in the Blue Mountains, which is around about 95 kilometres to the west of Sydney. We're at an elevation of just under 1,000 metres, and we have a lovely summer's day. It's starting off quite cool, around about 14 degrees, and we're heading for a comfortable or just over comfortable 27 degrees today. Hi Ruth, who's that up there? I've got a MacGyver gadget. Hi Cherie. Hi Mary Lou. Hi Lorna. All right, so before we begin, I'd like to acknowledge that we meet today on the traditional lands of the Darug and Gundungurra people and pay my respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging. Okay, so let's turn the camera around. From this point on, I will only take occasional look at the chat. It's about the experience. So let's begin. All right, so I hope you're sitting comfortably. I'm walking along a trail with the sun warming the left-hand side of my face. I can just feel a breeze starting to pick up. I really need to be conscious of slowing down my pace so that I can take in and notice every detail of the path around me. Through my feet, I can feel the unevenness of the path, which is stony and gravel, and I can feel the unevenness through the soles of my shoes. I'm aware of bird calls to my right, loud cockatoos screeching. And on my left, I can hear small birds in amongst the bushes. The sun shines on the grasses, on the seed heads of the grasses beside the trail. And lights up the details. I'm unaware of a temperature on my skin. It's neither cold nor warm, just a very comfortable temperature that I'm experiencing. A breeze lifts slightly, and I can feel the sensation of the cooler air rustling against my arms. All the while, the constant screeching of the cockatoos in the background. I pause to notice the first glimpses of the lake, the water, just off in the distance. And I look down and see the colours of more grass heads by the side of the trail. To my right, the early morning sun lights up the hillside which is covered in ferns. And above that, a line of trees and blue sky beyond. I become aware of a mechanical noise off in the distance, an aeroplane. I don't let it disturb the tranquility of the location that I'm in. I take in the peaceful surroundings, noticing the very slight breeze disturbing the surface of the water of the lake in front of me. And we continue. I notice a slight increase in temperature. I feel the warmth of the sun on my face. And now beside the path is a different kind of fern. I'd slow down and take the opportunity to really focus on the shape of the leaves and the sun glistening through. I hear a new bird call. I don't try to identify the bird. I simply listen to the call. I just notice a dragonfly lands on a stalk in front of me. If I can find it. Where is it? There it is, I think. And a third bird call becomes prominent. I stop to listen. And as I do, a duck lands on the water. I become aware of another person walking along the path behind me and step aside to allow him to pass. A butterfly lands on the ferns to the side of the path. We move on. We arrive at a fork in the road, and just in life, it's time to make a decision. I choose left. I pause to look at the glistening sunshine on the water. And inspect the shape of the ferns, the new fronds unfurling. I'm aware of other people on the path beside me. And I pause to take in the shape and the colour of this flower. And another beside it. I touch the flower. It feels like a pom-pom. It's soft. I hear the sound of insects. As my feet travel along the path, I've noticed a change in the texture. No longer stones and gravel, now sand. And another bird call. I pause to look at this trunk of a gum tree, a eucalyptus tree, and feel its texture. Smooth and cool. Another beautiful eucalyptus tree, a different colour this time, a grey. And once we are behind it, we have the tree between us and the sun. We feel instant cool. I stop to observe the sun shining through the foliage. The path changes once again, and tree roots become prominent. As my focus is placed on my feet and where I place them, we find ourselves really inspecting the path. We find a place where we can come close to the water's edge. And feel the full sun on our face, the warmth. I close my eyes to enjoy and feel the sun on my eyes, on my forehead. and still sense the rippling, the sun on the ripples of the water changes the shadows behind my eyelids. I rejoin the path and continue. I pause to observe some delicate, tiny little flowers by the side of the track. And listen again to the chorus of the magpies. Once again, we reach the water's edge. And I stop to look at the shape of this branch hanging over the water. And once again, the sun shining through the leaves. The path takes a turn slightly uphill, slightly away from the water's edge. I pause to look at the shape of the leaves. And contrast it with the almost statuesque shape of the second plant. I feel it brush against my skin as I pass. Another flower, this time white. With the most delicate of foliage. Contrasting against another plant which is almost blue in colour by comparison. I pause to delight in the colour of this native red flower. I become aware of another aeroplane flying overhead. We won't let it disturb us as we continue on our walk by the side of this beautiful lake. I stopped to look at the colour of the water, so clear, yet almost tea-coloured, as a result of the gum leaves, the eucalyptus leaves that fall into the water. Our path continues along the edge of the water. A young tree reaches out over the water's edge. A tiny beach. Rocks with plants growing on them in an impossible situation. I wonder at their survival. The lines, the colour, the shape, almost architectural. I hear a kookaburra. I stop to listen. I'm aware of more people on the trail. I stop to feel the texture of the bark. This is not soft, this is wiry. I move out of the other person's way. I was greeted by a 4-footed furry fellow. The ducks float peacefully on the water. I become aware of the lapping of the water against the shoreline. A breeze has picked up. I can feel it against my arm. Cool. We arrive at another point on the water's edge, one that offers an expansive view across the lake to the opposite shore. And despite the wind disturbing the surface of the water, we still can see the beauty in the reflections. A family of ducks in the distance. And we continue. Two trees alongside each other, both with completely different bark. The first, malleable but wiry. The second, harder, crunchy, and an insect reveals itself from behind the bark. There. The call of the black cockatoo emerges once more. And once again the wind picks up slightly. The temperature has dropped a little away from the sun, in the shade of the trees, and with the breeze having picked up, it's noticeably cooler. We descend some steps to this little beach. So we reach a point where the path ends. I hear a small bird in amongst the branches of this bush. I see its movements, too quick to identify. A train disturbs our tranquility, but it's moving past us. It will be gone soon. A butterfly appears to have landed on the surface of the water. It's having a drink, I assume. It lingers. We retrace our steps, knowing that reversing our direction offers a different point of view. I take in another of these beautiful red flowers. Now facing in the direction of the sun, we become more aware of the shadows of the trees across the path. I stop to listen to one of these birds in the forest. I don't try to identify it, I just listen to its call. I notice the shape of trees, older trees, trees that reach out in different directions. I hear my feet crunching on the gravel. And once again, we return to the water's edge. To see the sun's rays and the glistening on the surface of the water. All right, everyone, I'm going to finish the formal part of the guided tour here so that I can engage with you. I notice people were joining the tour. I took the decision not to interrupt the tour by greeting voyagers as they joined the tour. I noticed a couple of questions. I think someone asked what the temperature is right now, and it's just a beautiful, lovely. It's around about 18 degrees at the moment. We're going up to a fairly warm one today, 27 degrees. I think someone suggested that it may have been a moth under the bark when I lifted the bark. And I think you might be right. I think that was Tina. All in all, what was the feedback? Is this the sort of thing that you would enjoy doing from time to time? There's no guarantee that it's going to be back in this location because we'll be moving in a couple of weeks, but I would absolutely be looking for something equally as beautiful. So I'm going to just slowly walk back to it in the direction of my car, and let's chat as we go. Thanks, Omar. The intention was that it was an immersive experience, so I didn't want to interrupt that experience by engaging in the chat as we went. And although it's not a formal meditation, and I'm certainly not a practitioner, I tried to translate it into what I would do if I was out here walking myself, and incorporating the philosophy as I understand it of Shinrin Yoku. Oh, thank you, Dawn. Thank you, Dorley. Thank you so much. Tina. Yes, I did. At one point I did hear a kookaburra, but it may have been a little too distant. Or maybe I was talking over it when I said that I was listening to it. I only heard it the one time. The majority of the bird calls that I heard while we were walking were black cockatoos, sulphur-crested cockatoos, magpies. There were some small birds that I don't know which ones they were. There may have been fairy wrens or something else. What else did I hear? Of course, there was that one time we heard the kookaburra. I think there may have been a rosella in there at one point. And thank you to all those who tipped. I know I missed a couple. Obviously, I didn't just interrupt the tour to acknowledge it at the time. Thank you, Mo. Who else was there? Just going to quickly go back through the chat. There's this little yellow flower that we saw before. Let's have a look at that little yellow flower while I go back quickly through some of the chat. Ella from Warsaw, thank you so much. Corinne, thank you, Corinne. Inga, I hope it worked. And if it did, you wouldn't be hearing me say that. And I was guilty last night of falling asleep during a tour as well. I felt so guilty afterwards. Thanks, Marianne. Morning. Connie's asking me something, I think. Really enjoyed your walk in the calm and quiet. Your voice is soft and soothing. Guess I would like to know the birds at the time. It's a tricky one, that one, because I did name a couple of them, but sometimes I did just say I became aware of another bird call. Does everyone have a preference on that? Like if I know what the bird is, to actually identify it, or really just concentrate on the walk and the sensory experience of it? I'm prepared to be guided by you. Just the walk, Dawn? Like, for instance, we've got the cockatoos screeching over there in the background again at the moment. I know I mentioned the cockatoos early on, but I guess because they're so well known. And I didn't actually point out this beautiful tree fern as we walked past it either. It was a blast seeing that dragonfly again, like 2 walks. And twice now the dragonfly has stopped and sat almost in the identical location as it did last week. It's almost as if he's is he my spirit animal? He wants to be seen. Oh, I'm zoomed in, sorry. I'm just stopping again to admire the bark and the tree. Okay, thanks for the feedback, everyone. as I said, it's I'm new to this, and I haven't found a rule book on how to actually proceed doing it in this way. So I'm happy to be guided by what you'd like to happen. At the end of the day, the goal is to relax and gain some sort of I don't know what's the goal. It's not a meditation. It's about it's really about relaxation. Alrighty, I'm just watching this stand-up paddleboarder come by. Nature's balance and healing. Yeah, that's a good way to put it, Marianne. And I hope that it's been useful. I realise that the aim is not to spend all the tour taking postcards, but if you did take some lovely postcards, I'd love you to share them. It really just sort of gets the message out about the intent of the tour as well. Look at this. Look at the shape of this. And if you aren't already following me, if you're new to the tour, new to my tours, please consider following me. That way you'll get notifications of new tours. There's more people on the path this week than there was last week. Thanks, Dundee and Mary Lou. Just want to get out of the way of this person behind me. I don't know if it's because it's Sunday. Last week we did it on Saturday. I don't know if that's what makes a difference with the number of people on the path. I'll just stand to the side here. Good morning. So when we first arrived, that's where the Rosella was. He was feeding on these blackberries over here to the side of the path. Alrighty, thank you everyone. And of course, as always, if you are able to tip, I do welcome it. It does keep me going, keep me bringing you content. Some of the tours I offer come at a cost, and there's always a travel cost and a research cost involved. And I'm just noticing, I showed it last week as well, these are first autumn colours coming out. Hi Alexandria, hi Brenda. Sorry we're joining right at the end. Just wanted to let those people pass. And I'll turn the camera around now. Alrighty, so thank you everyone. Thank you again for joining me. Well, it was a beautiful morning again, so gorgeous out there by the lake. And I hope you experienced some of what I was experiencing. No, it's about a 15-minute drive for me to get here, Tina. I have done a walk through my neighbourhood. The closest place of beauty to my house is about a 15-minute walk away to a beautiful rock lookout. So, so thank you, Inga, and thank you, everyone. And I hope to see you again very soon. Tomorrow I'm going out to Blue Mountains Botanical Gardens, which is about an hour's drive from my place. It's beautiful. It's a cool climate botanical garden, and it has the backdrop of the amazing Blue Mountains cliffs in the background. So it's a lovely place to go. Thank you, Valerie. I'm going to finish up now and see you again on another tour. Thank you, everyone. Bye for now.